All right, today is Wednesday, August 5th, 2020, and I'm going into a multi-day prolonged fast, which I want to see if I can do a good reset for myself. I did a reset a while back, and throughout a 9-day fast, I ended up losing 21 pounds. Felt like a really good change in my body. Made me feel like I could get into a flow state a lot easier, and I think that at that point, I decided I got to do this at least once a year, maybe every couple of years, minimum 3 days, maximum so far 9. And I'm talking water only fast, which is pretty intense. Obviously, it's a controlled form of starvation for all intents and purposes. But I want to be able to do this, control it mentally, get the clarity that I'm looking for, obviously physically have the changes that happen with your diet changing, or in this case, sort of flushing things out, getting foods that you normally don't process normally well, as anything related to sugars or processed foods in general that have additives that affect our body or our chemistry or dynamic. These are the things that through a fast I've noticed that I've been able to eliminate. And when I eliminate them, I come back to my normal diet, or I come back to a form of a diet that I control from top to bottom, and I know that it's almost like starting with a clean slate. So protein wise, I eat mostly like an omnivore style diet. I'm very heavy with proteins, vegetables. I really stay away from carbs and sugars. This is something that my body and I just agree to disagree on, that we just can't be having too much of. But at least this way, I have a better sense of how to control the things that I either have food intolerances to or anything food allergenic based. I also have food sensitivities to certain things that I do like, especially in the vegetable category, like spinach, which is strange. So I have to limit how much spinach I can take in. So I have salads every week, but as far as spinach intake, maybe once or twice a week. Otherwise, proteins are pretty normal that I consume. I can consume fish, chicken, beef, pork, and I do it in obvious quantities so that I make sure that I'm measuring it out properly. But this is going to be another start of another reset that I'm doing, and I talk a little bit more about it and go through it every day to give you guys a sense of how I feel. And realistically, other than sparkling water and straight black coffee in the morning, that's it. There's no food, there's no snacks, there's nothing. As far as liquids, literally just water, whether it's carbonated or just straight flat water. That's all I'm really going to be using throughout this whole period. And it's going to change a lot what happens to my body normally, because once you enter a certain extended point in the fast, now the body starts to realize, hey, we got to survive on our own. We've got to take food and nutrients from our fat stores and things like that. That's where our dynamic, our physiology kicks in, and the body understands that in that fasted state, that our fat stores is where the brain will eat first, which will start producing ketones, so the brain can eat first, and the body will obviously take and consume the nutrients that it needs from the breakdown of the fats, and that'll take cells. Obviously, we're looking at this as a whole. What happens in autophagy? I'm sure if you haven't heard by now, autophagy essentially is just the not cell regeneration, but it's more of like a cleanup of old cells being reconsumed by your healthier, stronger cells. Keeps your body from falling apart essentially, and does do a lot of cleanup in the body itself. So we'll see how this goes. We'll get more into the specifics. Maybe every day I'll talk a little bit about each phase or each thing that's related to a fast or what happens in the body's cleanup process. But just stay tuned for that. I'll put this together for you guys soon and keep you guys posted on this very, very long extended fast.